Okay, good morning. I'm live and I'm going to change the lighting. This is Dr. Mia Lueth. It is 9:09 a.m. Eastern US time, New York. Uh, and I don't know. It's July the 5th, 2025. It is here. But some people need to understand that uh, it, quite literally, there are people who are probably going into July the 6th on Earth. Okay. Some people tend to forget that there are people who are in the next day by now. So, all right, well, yeah, I mean, everything here that I'm working with is far less than ideal, but uh, I'm doing it anyway. There's quite a few things that I need better takes. Okay. So that's another reason why I repeated myself. But I repeat myself also just to say out loud and to make absolutely sure anybody who watches this, okay, if you are under the age of 21, no matter where you are on earth, okay, this is not meant for you. Okay. And particularly if now the one exception I'm going to make, okay, I'm going to say this autistic adults, autistic kids, no, under 21, obviously not. But autistic adults over 21, I'm asking you, I'm saying to you, people who love an autistic adult or care for them or whatever, autistic adults. Okay, I'm an autistic adult, and I'm saying to you, please don't watch this, okay? Have somebody who understands certain things really well and who loves you, sort through some of this. And there are some things that are meant for autistics, and especially those for parents who recently have found out that you have an autistic someone on the spectrum. And so the sooner you understand, the better. Now, these days, from what I understand, by the time someone's 5 years old, you can usually tell. Okay, now there are a lot of people who may not understand because we do have a situation that sometimes movies about a certain subject does sort of help along people's idea of what something is, like schizophrenia or depression. But the autistic spectrum is a little wider and broader than originally thought. I was told not to tell anybody in school or anybody that I was born in 1972. So back then, they just called him a savant. Okay. And then idiot savant. So yeah, it took a while to get rid of idiot. And if anybody's calling anybody an idiot savant, we're not called that anymore. Because, right. I mean, no, it's a clinical term. I mean, nobody meant harm there, I'm sure, because the clinical term the clinical term here is idiot, but regular everyday people don't understand clinical terminology, and it can start to get hurtful because there are actual autistic people in this world who are actual real geniuses. Okay, not all. Okay, and some have better built filters than some other people. I've known a few Asperger's, and sometimes they just don't have a filter, and you get used to it. Okay, but you do have to get used to it. But I say things sometimes because the adults who are handling young autistics, like the minute buy them ears. Okay, and by ears, I do mean like firing range ears, or when people are mowing or work around loud equipment, they have they have noise reduction ears on. Sometimes just a pair of headsets. Okay, just a pair of headsets. And I'll give you an example. Okay, some of this is meant for actual education. And I do have the credentials as an educator. Okay? Right. And I can tell you, if anyone were to check, Towson University is not in the habit of giving away fake or scam degrees. Right. So I prefer to stay relatively balanced between what people call book smarts and street smarts. Okay? So some people make assumptions about geniuses that they probably shouldn't. Some people may not understand it, but you have to understand it's not something that I'm holding over anybody's heads. Okay? Because I've met some people, and I even told a story that someone who was known as retarded, that was a family friend a long time ago, completely amazed me. I was inspired. I was amazed. I couldn't believe what this kind of person committed to memory. I mean, like before Google existed, there was this person, and she could tell you every state when it became a state in the United States. She could tell you every single president, every single vice president. She could tell you all sorts of things about dates in history. It was amazing. Okay, but there were other things that she really couldn't do. But that was something as a kid amazed me. So I'm not trying to say everybody needs to be a genius. Like in some cases it doesn't matter. In some cases it does when certain things need to be worked out, and people with high IQs who understand certain things having to do with society, and there have been some things discovered having to do with the internet. Okay, so laws in other countries might be catching up, okay, and laws in the US might be catching up, but essentially you using the internet are responsible for your content, okay. So I make sure to put my credentials up. I make sure to mention them often. I make sure to tell people, okay, well, I've actually done it, okay, I did it quiet. There are a lot of things that even my closest friends didn't really know about me because I wanted to make sure that what I needed for success for something would be available to me, and it is. Uh, so there's some things I can't say because it's private. Okay, it's private. Now, people who have their lives publicly out there tend to take hits that, right, and I'm gonna have to do that. I have to give up all my privacy. I have to give up some things that I worked years toward. But great. So even these without any music on, something like this, right? Earmuffs can help. So if you have an autistic and immediately get them used to wearing something great. You may have to get the kind that goes like this around the back of the head, okay? Because they may not want something on the top of their head. Okay, it takes me a while to get used to things like on top of my head. And having people cut my hair, that always seems so rough and aggressive to me. Like, and yeah, I mean, there are people who brush hair too hard. You just do. Okay, but some of us are sensitive to things that maybe you can't understand. Never come up behind them and pat them on the back. Loud noises that occur out of context, like, I can understand the fireworks last night. That's the 4th of July. It happens, okay? But that's something we know is going to happen, and we can prepare for them, right? And, that kind of thing. But when somebody lights off fireworks in their backyard nearby at like 2 o'clock in the morning, okay, you're probably triggering war vents. And that's not okay, man. I mean, think of others. Just everyone. That's for every single human being walking the freaking planet. Right? I I know for a fact it also scares certain animals and pets. All right? But definitely you people who set off fireworks in the middle of the night or during a time when it's not expected have triggered people with PTSD. And you may not give a shit, but you're going to have to start giving a shit. Some of these people fought for freedoms, but it's not just military, your own fellow citizens. Okay, there are noise, some compliance with, yes, there are there's policies and rules about noise in towns and other places all over the US. They might be different. Okay, there might be places that don't, but they should. All right, so before you go shooting off fireworks during a time when people around you in certain areas are not expecting them, you've caused harm. Point blank. There is nothing else to say. So I understand why I don't get too many people watching this, but you will. You will. Okay? There are things that I know for sure are reality in this world. And I'm not trying to run away from reality at all. Okay? I'm not. I never will. That's not something I do. So I am 53 years old, and you're just going to have to deal with that. And you're going to have to treat me like a mature adult. And there are things online that in text simply don't come across. They get perceived differently by different people. So I'll give you an example. I saw Kate Beckinsale in a movie, maybe, I don't know, 3 years ago or so. And she didn't really look like Kate Beckinsale anymore. Facial, I mean, come on. And I've recently seen some things back and forth where someone happened to mention that she looked like maybe she was emaciated. She's not getting enough food, just like Ariana Grande, right? And and so as a human being, of course, I might say something because it's like, oh, holy shit, is this person okay? Because sometimes when you're the person who's doing it, and when you're the person who just looks absolutely like little skinny bones, it's like you gotta have enough. You understand, fat on you to live healthy. Okay, you do. I'm not saying you have to be fat. I'm saying you gotta have a certain kind of fat. And these people, right? They can't. That's not even possible. Like fat will help your internal organs sort of buffer. There are fats that are good for you, and those fats need to be in your body. So when you're just cutting certain things out, or I don't know, drug use, or you're just doing something, even if it's doctors that tell you, what I'm going to say is some of us are just concerned people. Okay, that like, oh, that's just extra skinny, extra skinny, and maybe there's an issue like anorexia. I don't know, but if some of us mention it in public, it's not to down somebody. I'm not body shaming anybody. I'm out of complete and utter awareness of some of the things that can happen. Anybody remember Karen Carpenter? If you don't know who Karen Carpenter is or was, okay, if you're young enough or you're not really a music fan, I'm gonna write the name Karen Carpenter. Yeah, go ahead and look her up on a search engine or browser. Okay, there are other people, but Karen Carpenter is a pretty well used example, and killed her. And unfortunately, people in the public eye tend to get a lot of criticism about their body. I'm not looking forward to that, but I'm ready for it. I'm not looking forward to any of this, but I'm ready for it. So there are people that just I literally worry about. I mean, sometimes when people are just really, really large, it's like, oh man, that can't be healthy. Like your heart is working overtime. Yeah. So I'm the kind of person who might mention to someone like, ooh, I mean, I hope that you're in good hands. And people who actually care about you are interceding and intervening and trying to help you understand that, you know, being extra, extra skinny, a lot of people don't find that sexy. But she must have had some work done in her face, was the thing I was more interested in. Because I looked, Kate Beckinsale movies along the way, and then there's this one movie, and it took me a little while to actually know that it was Kate Beckinsale. Okay, so she may have gotten work done that made her not as recognizable. Regardless, I choose not to talk about certain things online, but I'm doing it now. Okay, like I can no longer be attacked by anyone or anything. That's just not going to happen. And I know exactly what's going to happen. The press is pretty predictable. I know. I'm going to get all kinds of people are going to have things to say about what's coming next. And when you find out, I know I'm going to take some ridiculous garbage from humans all over the planet who can use the internet. And I'm ready for it. Okay. But I have to admit, it doesn't have to be like this. And people all over the world need to understand that text and, people from other countries may speak English a little out of order. Okay. Um, and there are accents to get through. And typing something oftentimes does it isn't what you think it is, and not everybody is like a writer. Not everybody is good at expressing themselves in text. As a matter of fact, there's more people who aren't than there are people who are online. Okay, but the people who think that you can just blah, okay, blah, vomit your bullshit toxins all over everybody on the internet, okay, or threatening people's lives using social media, or right, I mean, you got to understand you're going to get caught if you have not already, point blank. Okay, I mean, to be honest with you, I studied some law enforcement, okay, investigating another, yeah, criminal justice, and one of my really good friends was a law enforcement officer, and I had some other friends who were, yes, law enforcement officers, different states. As I was growing up, I've gone on ride-alongs. I understand certain things about law enforcement that the common person doesn't. And in the United States, for the most part, if there is suspicion that a law enforcement officer is doing something, yes, that is just not okay in human ways, in any kind of way, no, they're not going to get away with it. They get caught eventually. They do. And they also make other law enforcement officers look bad when you got corruption and people, right, trying to. I mean, I know one. I grew up in the same neighborhood with a law enforcement officer who He used to ride my bus and all kinds of stuff. And he got caught not logging in money that he got on a bust from a drug dealer. This law enforcement officer kept the money and conveniently left it out of his report, and he got caught. Which I'm sure the very first person who lit into him about that would be his brother, because his brother also law enforcement. I mean, he got caught. There were penalties to it. There are things no one could trust him to do again. There's administrative leave. He had to go through all kinds of crap, and he can't ever really get past that, no matter whether he's still with the law enforcement agency or not. Okay, there are people who know, and I'm sure he's had to work really, really, really hard to build that trust. Okay, so in the U.S., usually they do get caught. Most of the time, they are not enemies to immigrants, by the way, because human beings understand human beings, and there is only one race, and it is the human race. Now, if you can't come to terms with that reality, I don't care, and neither should anyone else. Okay, little children should not be learning certain things. Little children should not have to go through certain things. Everybody needs to step up, sack up, move up, and become cycle breakers. Just because you had it done to you does not mean you need to do it to someone else, or the guilty party. Let them sit and rot in their own filthy skin with their own filthy crap. So I'm saying I'm ready. I have to do this publicly. It was not my life's mission, and nobody can destiny swap with me. All this bullshit online. Get it off. Okay? What I'm saying to law enforcement in the United States of America, well, I do everything I can to try and just be a decent civil citizen and follow the rules of the road and be, as decent to people as I can possibly be. Okay? I mean, that's that. But there are too many of you using the World Wide Web and social media in criminal ways. And in the United States, that is not tolerated. Zero tolerance. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Yep. I can't do this on camera. I like your shirt. Yeah, deep in my YouTube. Thank you. So I had to take a break. I'll do this live, and there are people who've been in touch with me like, oh, it's no use, you're not getting any views. I get views. Okay, I don't need a lot of views. If I get a lot of views, amen to that. If I don't, I don't. Okay, I know that there are a few people around the world who have, like, yes, binged my YouTube channel. Okay, I don't care. I have all the proof and evidence to prove that I'm a legit, and I have all of the credentials to be known as an educator. And so what I put up here is educational. So if it says educational, and yeah, you can do that with the music too. Okay, you can do it if it's categorized under music, that's fine. either music or education. Yep. What size are they? Okay, that'll work. Thank you. Yeah, these are crappy ones, so I'll probably need them. So thanks. Anyway, yep, I can't be on too long because I have to do something this morning. But once again, what I'm saying is that I've written a couple things online, and along the way people react to it is like, you don't, that's not at all what I was saying. I didn't write that. I didn't say that. You can't just imply things. And I've recently had one. And I'm an older adult who has spent the majority of my life online. Okay? I can say right out loud what I was going to get to before is I'm sure there's some law enforcement who absolutely love it when criminal parties are operating, especially online. I'm sure they absolutely love the fact that you think they're stupid. Just because you think it doesn't mean it's true. Okay. Like I push music for free. If somebody paid me for it and gave me resources, it would be different. But that is not the case. And I I think that people need to shut down some of the teenagers online. Okay. Like the things that they can get into, it's not okay. It is not okay. Most of what I've seen online is not okay for people under 16. I mean, maybe not even under 18 in certain countries. Plus, they try and get involved in adult conversations where they don't belong. Okay? Anybody can comment, but here's the thing. Okay? Yes, there are laws. You, in the United States of America, who's I'm talking to, you, yes, you, if you bully and harass somebody long enough online, using the internet, using social media, you can actually be convicted in court. You can be sued civilly. Okay? So if somebody is repeatedly attacking you and putting stuff on, trust me when I tell you, some of us are wise enough to keep that as evidence. Boop, boop. Against you. Okay? Don't listen to the bullshit people are trying to tell you that you can like hide behind any number of things, you understand? But eventually you're gonna get found and you're gonna get caught. Okay? The internet is not the wild, wild west anymore. Okay? It may have been for a short period of time once certain public use became more and more and more into the millions. You understand? Right. So, yeah. I mean, I plan to sue civilly. I plan to, take things to where I need to take them. In one case, it's a prosecution. It's like an attorney. I forget what it's called. I forget. There's a lot of information that I have to deal with on a daily basis, but many of you don't. And sometimes, okay, if I make an error in judgment in some cases, lives could be at stake. Most of you don't have that kind of pressure, and I don't even get paid for it. But my give a crap ran out when it came to a few things. I am like, oh Lord, Holy Lord Jesus. Well, guess what? I ran out of cheeks to turn. So I guess you gotta move me. And I had to go dark and go quiet. Because it's the only way they learn. That's sad to me, admittedly. It is. Okay. Look, a lot of people who are actually saying they're Christians is just like, well, how do you not? You've not interpreted Scripture correctly. Okay. And anybody who uses a spell book, yeah, probably fell into a trap more. Okay. Well, I'm older than you and I know way better. Okay. No, it's not proof that Jesus lied. Like Morg is a guy. Okay. I've been at this way longer than you, and you're probably one of the ones in a stricter type of denomination, and you didn't like that, and you found out some other things that you thought would give you good reason to turn the other way. Okay, but I guarantee you a lot of what this one has said online is incorrect, and there are definitely ways to prove God. You guys don't want to do the work. You guys don't like to be told what to do, okay? And I get it. But unfortunately, yeah, we all have a higher up somewhere. All of us. Okay? So I'm not going to be tolerating a lot of immature conversation anyway. Okay? Yeah, somebody tried to block me. I put one comment up. Okay, and then yeah, my computer froze and then it reloaded, so I couldn't finish my statement. And then I wrote it again. And then someone just like, oh, so you agree with bullying? I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't write that anywhere. And also, yeah, look at both. And no, I don't think it's okay to call people schizo because they wrote stuff online that added up to someone actually killing themselves who had depression and problems. Okay. Some of you push too hard. Some of you think you know. Some of you think, oh, if we just don't do this, every human will habituate to allergies. Bullshit, lies, all sorts of evidence all over the United States, all over Canada, all over anywhere people use their brains and have scientific institutes, which is a large portion of this planet. Say you're wrong about that. Okay? I don't really feel the need to defend scripture because it's, yes, I mean, I don't really feel the need to do that. But what I'm saying is, I understand why some younger, yeah, they jump ship because they're likely in a more strict denomination. And I'm not sure entirely how denominations work either. Okay? I mean, for me, it's like, I'm non denominational, I don't care. We're all Christians, aren't we? Isn't that what we're supposed to be? Okay? So I am one who does understand that it, like yes, the Rosicrucians. Okay, there's Rosicrucians still around, hanging out all over the planet, and I did contact them at one point. Well, I did want to study with them just because I'm, allowed to study what I want as a mature adult. All right, yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm getting at, and so the Rosicrucians have something that's called the Council of Solace. I think, yeah, I may be getting that wrong, but I asked them, like, I was having some trouble, and it was just like, I understand where the Rosicrucians come from. I have a lot of similar thoughts and characteristics, and it is a group of people who we're not divided by religion. Maybe that's why some of you people want to like put the Rosicrucians in some other category. I mean, they're not all Christians, but that doesn't matter. I mean, not to me. It's not my job to run around turning people into Christians, right? But I can address younger people quite well, actually. Okay, I'm not going to be using younger people's terminology. All right, there's no way I would date a man, you understand, who just types crap to me online with all the flattering. Okay, some of them trying to do that to me online right now. I guarantee you, you got trained to be a manipulator by somebody. Sometimes manipulation does not mean something bad. Like the chiropractor will manipulate your body to help you, muscles and pull, or what do you call it, nerve damage and other kind of stuff. Okay, there are a lot of different words that mean a lot of different things, and certain countries will have different translations, different words, and a lot of people think they're the same, but then they're not. So some things are and some things are not. I happen to know a great deal about certain things with the right, which I'm not. But while there is a difference between a Ritz and a Ricken, all right, but I don't care. Like, all you coward fucking Christians, do you not trust God? Apparently, you do not. Why would I have any issue talking to witches and pagans and whoever the hell else, you know? Okie dokie. So I don't believe in denominations, but a lot of people are like, no, no, I'm talking about that Jesus. Oh, no, no, he didn't die on the cross. No, he didn't do. I don't care. A lot of it's in the past. I took the time to do that work to heal the wounds, and sometimes it takes a little longer. And there are people who give me all kinds of shit about music, trying to tell me how things work, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck if that's how they work. If I wanted to do cover songs, I'd have done them by now. Well, unfortunately, I have a member of our newly formed band that's all ready, and I refuse to compromise no matter what anybody says. There are people who will hire live bands or let you play your own music. I mean, I don't mind learning a song or two and singing a song or two of someone else's. But if I wanted to do that, I would have done it a long time ago. So, I have this feeling that three-legged popes aren't going to be making it. Right? But yeah, I have an illness, and so does another one, and so some of us who only see doctors all the time and nurses and the inside of hospitals, we never get vacation. But anybody who's really come after me really hard and really mean and any other kind of thing, I mean, you do realize that there will be public truth put out there, and it'll probably go international because of the World Wide Web. Yeah. You've been insulting and harassing and stole money from and lied to and came at me as though I'm the problem. Well, they did that to me when I was younger, but all the adults found out after a while that I was not the problem at all. And adults, that I knew actually tried very hard to make sure I was not living in the household my parents lived in. Other adults, other people let me stay at their house for a little while. I got used to moving around to different couches because it was better than being in that house. It took a while. It took a while for my dad, but I gave him that leeway because he grew up in a country where they bombed them a lot. His parents and his grandmother died early. He only had his brother. And they came here to the United States. And of course, the military is the one way get citizenship. And immediately he was trained and then got shipped off to another country. And he fucking hated it. He hated war. He hated it. He actually loved Korea. There were things about Korea he absolutely loved. And he fucking hated it. And when he came back, it took him years of explosive, volatile yelling, stomping like a 5-year-old, because the man deserved the right kind of respect. And he had a lot to say about war, and it all sounded like a pretty shitty fucking deal for both sides. Now, if it were up to me, and I was the one who decided whether we'd go to war or not, I guarantee you it would take a shitload for me to actually say, all right, let's go to war. But I guarantee you, if I were to do that, I would know we already got the win. Point blank. So I've done this a lot without anybody's support. I've been laughed at a lot. Oh, Mia, you're so funny. And I'm like, yeah, and then I end up doing exactly what I said. Yeah, like getting a PhD. It took me till I was 50, but I still did it. I still want to own a hockey club. Okay? But I gotta look at the realism. I don't want to hear your fucking sunshine bullshit when that is not how this fucking world works. Okay? I probably got less than 10 years. And my body is, reacting to certain things that just people don't understand. And, right, neurological disorder that isn't well studied. And I'm autistic. And I mean, I have been suffering with PTSD since about the time I was 11. I'm 53 now. So mine's lifelong, but I have found ways. Okay? But a lot of times I'm in. So anybody who's been attacking me, okay, I don't know how you would be able to justify to anyone why you're attacking a person who never got in trouble with the law, considers others, not just myself, because I live in a world with other people. It's not all about me. And my dreams and goals involve other people. Okay? But a lot of stuff's been cut short because I have not been in good health. And it took a very long time to get the right kind of diagnosis. And yes, now I barely have any money. Well, that's going to change. And what I can tell the United States of America is, look, of course I love my country, but I love other countries too. I mean, but when push comes to shove, cybersecurity. Okay, I'm a goalie, and there are way too many holes, is what I'm trying to say to the United States government. And your citizens are being attacked. Now, if some of them are in this country, like, hitch a ride, GoFundMe, go get a GoFundMe, ask wealthy people to pay your way here so you can tell me to my face what kind of pile of shit you think I am. There's no such thing as a garbage human. Do not fight back with shitty words, okay? That's class it up. Learn to keep your mouth shut. Don't fire back. Don't call people shitty names and say they're garbage human beings because they wrote something online that you understood was something crappy and mean and purposeful. And it may not have been at all. You have no right to turn around and call people names. You don't have a right to do that, especially not in this country. You're exacerbating the situation. It is not for you to judge who is a garbage human or schizophrenic or schizo or any of that. Just stop. I've been online for a very long time. And I can tell the United States government, yeah, we got some holes in the cybersecurity. And well, since you don't pay me and couldn't figure out how to get the genius in the United States a job, federal government, I have to do it this way. I'm also using my no fear whistleblower protection, but I don't want to talk to the press. Yeah, I'd rather, maybe the FBI because then it's not Homeland Security. But it does have to do with Flexi. It does have to do with some shit that I saw that's absolutely not okay. Law enforcement officers should not be like that. And I don't know what the fuck anybody thought in hiring some of the people that I had to work around for Homeland Security. And most of those people wandering around like, no big deal, and like not vigilant at all. And seemingly only a few of us really remembered 9/11. That's not a day I'll ever forget. Regardless, okay? I say what I say. These are educational, all right? I am a very friendly person, but there are some things that have been happening to me and other people online, and people need to do something about it, okay? Don't just sit back thinking that somehow, okay, it's all just going to turn out okay. No, no, no. We actually need to participate. And we actually need to understand that in the United States, I can guarantee you, your online activity can get you put in a federal prison. True. Straight out. You cannot prove me wrong. Yes, I am. Some of them has figured it out. So those of you who figure out, yes, who I am who I am, I suggest you start telling people. I'm theirs. And yes, I am living blood that passed through the house of David, that knows a lot about the order of Melchizedek. All I can say to certain people is if you want to be a part of the solution in this world, okay, then choose Jesus as your high priest. He's not going to punish you, not going to give a shit. He's going to help you understand. He's going to go at a pace that works for you. Okay? I Any that belong to him belong to him. I never touch them because I know they're good to go. So somebody better start treating me like you should, or I will declare war, and there will be very few survivors. I'm letting all these seers, I'm opening that so the seers can see it. This is your future if you don't change your fucking ways right now. I am who I am. I don't want to demonstrate my power. Don't make me.